Alright, let's talk about the return of Ted Lasso, or should I say, the joyless return. Because honestly, that's the vibe I got from the first episode of the new season. It's like running into an old friend you haven't seen in years, and for a split second, you're hit with this wave of nostalgia. You remember the good times, the laughs, the heartwarming moments, the way Ted's optimism could light up a room. But then reality sets in, and you're like, oh right, this is why we drifted apart. That's exactly how I felt watching this episode. Now, let's set the stage for those who might not be caught up. Ted Lasso is this feel-good show about an American football coach, Ted Lasso, played by Jason Sudeikis, who somehow ends up coaching an English soccer team, AFC Richmond. Last season ended on this bittersweet note. Ted's team almost won the championship, but he decided to leave to be with his son. It was emotional, it was whimsical, and it felt right. But here's the thing, that was 3 years ago. And in those 3 years, something seems to have gotten lost in translation. What made Ted Lasso so special in the first place? Personally, I think it was the way it balanced absurdity with heart. Remember the players singing, "So long, farewell," on the pitch? Or that penalty kick that defied physics and basically turned into a rocket? It was over the top, sure, but it worked because it was grounded in this genuine sense of kindness. Ted's character wasn't just a goofy coach, he was a guy who believed in people, even when they didn't believe in themselves. That's what hooked us, the optimism, the charm, the reminder that maybe, just maybe, the world isn't such a terrible place. But this new episode, it feels different. And not in a good way. One thing that immediately stands out is how much the show seems to be struggling to recapture that magic. It's like they're trying too hard to remind us why we fell in love with it in the first place, but instead, it comes off as forced. Take the humor, for example. It's still there, but it doesn't land the same way. What many people don't realize is that comedy isn't just about the jokes, it's about the timing, the context, the emotional weight behind it. And right now, it feels like the show is missing that spark. From my perspective, the bigger issue here is the tone. Ted Lasso used to feel like a warm hug on a cold day. It was this escape from reality, a reminder that kindness and optimism could win out. But this episode, it feels more like a chore. There's this underlying sense of heaviness, like the show is trying to address deeper issues but hasn't quite figured out how to do it without losing its identity. And honestly, that's what worries me the most. If Ted Lasso can't be Ted Lasso anymore, what's the point? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not writing off the entire season based on one episode. There's still time for the show to find its footing. But if you take a step back and think about it, this isn't just about Ted Lasso. It's about the challenge of reviving something that felt so perfect in its original form. How do you recapture lightning in a bottle? Especially when the world has changed so much since the last time we saw these characters. This raises a deeper question: can a show like Ted Lasso still exist in today's TV landscape? We're in an era where audiences crave complexity, where antiheroes and moral ambiguity dominate the screen. Ted Lasso was a breath of fresh air because it went against that grain. But now, it feels like it's trying to straddle two worlds, the whimsical, feel-good story it used to be, and something darker, more introspective. And honestly, I'm not sure it can pull that off. A detail I find fascinating is how much the show's success relies on Ted's character. He's the heart and soul of the series, but even he feels off in this episode. There's this underlying sadness to him, a sense that the weight of the world is finally catching up. And while that could be an interesting direction to explore, it also risks losing what made him so endearing in the first place. What this really suggests is that even the most optimistic characters have their limits, and maybe that's the point the show is trying to make. But here's the thing, I don't watch Ted Lasso to be reminded of life's limitations. I watch it to escape them. And if the show can't deliver on that promise anymore, I'm not sure where it leaves us. Personally, I'm holding out hope that this is just a bump in the road, that the writers will find their way back to what made the show so special. But for now, I can't shake this feeling of disappointment. It's like the show is trying to tell me something I'm not ready to hear, that maybe, just maybe, even Ted Lasso can't fix everything. So, what do you think? Is this just a rough start, or is Ted Lasso losing its way? Let me know in the comments. And if you take a step back and think about it, this isn't just about a TV show, it's about the stories we tell ourselves, the characters we cling to, and what happens when they don't feel the same anymore. Maybe that's the real takeaway here. Either way, I'll be here, hoping for a comeback. Because if anyone can turn this around, it's Ted Lasso, or at least, the Ted Lasso we used to know.